my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you my gluten-free banana bread recipe. If you guys are new around here, my name is Becca. I'm a registered dietitian and I share lots of content here on my channel about nutrition, wellness, non-toxic living, healthy recipes, what I eat, all of that fun stuff. And today I'm going to be sharing with you how I make my banana bread. So I am like gluten-free-ish. I am not like fully gluten-free. I don't have like a medical reason to be fully gluten-free. I just feel a little bit better when I am not eating, I want to say gluten, but really just like generic basic wheat products, because I can handle sourdough just fine. I've done a whole video on sourdough, like a sourdough starter, why it's more easily digested and all of that. But when it comes to banana bread, I have yet to try a sourdough banana bread, but I do have a trusty gluten-free banana bread recipe that I've been making for probably like a year-ish now, maybe a little less, and I've been meaning to share this with you guys for so long. It's so tasty, it's easy to throw together, and I mean, who doesn't love banana bread? But I feel like it's just such like a nice, homey, like warm treat, but you can actually really chock it full with like whole food ingredients that pack a little bit of nutritious punch, and that is definitely what's happening in my banana bread. So if you want to see how I make mine, let's get started. Okay, so for how to actually make it, let's get started. So the very first thing I'm gonna do is preheat my oven for 355 degrees. Okay, so I am first going to mix together our dry ingredients, and I love using just a gluten-free like 1-to-1 flour. There's different brands you can get. This one is called Cup for Cup, but basically you can just straight up replace this with a standard flour, and it's like a mix of different gluten-free flours. So I'm gonna add about a cup and a fourth, 1 1/4 cup of the gluten-free flour. Next, I'm gonna add some cinnamon. I'm just gonna eyeball it, but it's about 1/4 of a teaspoon, and I will have all of the exact printable recipe on my blog post, which will be linked down below. Next, I'm gonna do a teaspoon of baking powder and then a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So next is some flax seeds, but you wanna actually grind these up. So I have a coffee grinder, so I grind mine fresh. You can purchase flax seeds already ground, so ground flax seeds, but the fats in there will oxidize, and they just they end up like losing a lot of their nutritional benefit when, like, once they're ground up, if you're not eating them like very soon after. So that's why I like to grind them up fresh, but you can purchase them already ground. So I put 2 tablespoons of flax seeds in my coffee grinder, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and dump them in. Smells really good. Okay, so that is it for our dry ingredients. So I will just kind of mix that all together so it is well combined. And then we're gonna move on to our wet ingredients. So the very first thing you're gonna need are some spotty, I was gonna say sad looking, but these aren't sad because they get to be turned into banana bread, but just some brown, smushy, spotty bananas. So I am using 2 large bananas. If you have smaller bananas, I would use 3, but we're just going to peel those and add them to our bowl, and then I'm just going to get in there and mash them up with a fork. Okay, our bananas are all nice and mashed up, and I do like to add a little bit of extra sweetener. You can just roll with the bananas if you want, but I do like a little bit of extra sweetness, especially if I'm just using like 2 bananas. So I'm just gonna do about 1/8 cup of some pure maple syrup. I always buy this in bulk, organic from Costco. I'm also gonna be adding a little bit of applesauce. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of applesauce, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Next, I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of coconut oil that has been melted down. This is another thing I like to buy in bulk from Costco. And now I am just mixing up all of our wet ingredients so they are fully combined, and then we will combine the wet and dry together. Okay, so we have our banana bread dough, if you will, all mixed up. And now I'm just going to pop it into a greased little loaf pan. I love these loaf pans. I can link these down below. But I just use a little bit of coconut oil. You wanna make sure it's nice and greased and slick because we don't want the banana bread to stick. And now I'm just going to pour our bread dough, banana bread dough, into our pan and then just kind of go through and shape it how I want it, because it is kind of, it's not like a super liquidy batter by any means. It's definitely a little bit on the thicker side, so you wanna make sure you're evenly distributing it into the loaf pan so it makes like a nice loaf shape, obviously. Okay, it is all ready to go in the oven. So again, we're preheated at 355. I'm gonna pop it in there for 35, 45 minutes, somewhere in there. Basically, once the edges are a little bit crispy brown and the center is completely set, if you like to stick a toothpick in there, that is when you know it's all done. And once it is done, you can go ahead and pull it out of the oven and let it cool for about 10 minutes, and then you can get to slicing and enjoying, and oh my God, it's so good. Okay, you guys, so that is how I make my gluten-free banana bread. It's super easy to throw together. It's so tasty and satisfying. And again, there are some good kind of whole food ingredients in there to kind of up the nutrition ante, if you will. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you do try out the recipe, I would love for you to let me know. Tag me on Instagram so I can see. Let me know how you're liking it. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can join our little community here on YouTube, but also follow me on Instagram as well, because I'm on there pretty much on a daily basis, just kind of sharing what we are up to. So that's all I have for this video. Thanks again for watching it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.